Hello guys, and welcome back to Will Nerds. Today, this is Stan Molten, and he's going to show us some cool bees.
Thanks, Chase, for inviting me to be on your YouTube channel. Let's go look in this beehive right over here.
Yep. Hello guys, welcome back to Will Nerds. Today I am with Stan Molten, and he's going to show us a little about bees. So I understand you've been doing bees and your family has for a while, is that right?
Yes, we got our start in Sanpete County in 1890. So my great-grandfather, they lived down in Mayfield, just south of here, and they started bees about the time they moved over to Emery County. And so I'm a fourth-generation beekeeper. We have kept up the family tradition and the family business, and we're still at it. We manufacture beekeeping equipment. We sell beekeeping equipment. We sell honey, of course. We sell bees, and we teach beekeeping classes. We pollinate. We send the bees out to the almond orchards out in California every year for pollination. And so we're keeping up the tradition, and thanks for inviting me onto your YouTube channel, Chase. We'll show you some things about bees today.
Okay.
We're going to give them some smoke first. That'll throw off the guard bees. And let's pull some weeds out in front of the entrance. That'll help them get in and out of the hive a little better. So why don't you put the hive tool right in between the lid and the box there.
Right here?
Yep, right there.
Can you see, Addie?
Pry it open.
Whoa.
Take the lid off and then set it down with the cover up so we don't lose the bees in the grass. That's good. All right.
Wow.
And then let's take out a frame and we can see what's going on in there.
Okay.
This is a hive nuke. We call them nukes or nucleuses because they're just the beginnings of a hive. They have everything that a bigger hive has, only not as much of it.
So when did this hive start?
So this hive right here is actually one breeder queens from my feral bee project. There's a queen cup right there. I started this colony last year, but I took her out of her big box and I put her in a smaller box. Well, let's take some frames out and see if we can see what they're doing.
I think I just got stung on my leg, yeah.
On your knee?
Yeah, I'm gonna put my knee down.
Okay. So you can see in here some capped over brood, right? And there's capped over drones. So underneath there is the pupa of a drone bee. Underneath these flatter caps is capped over worker bees. You can see in the corner here some pollen. That's the proteins for the baby bees.
Okay.
Right? And we should see some honey in the corners.
And may I say something?
Yep.
So for those you may not know, the drones are the male bees. They can't sting, and they are pretty much born, they mate, and then they die. They don't really, you never really see them out of the hive. So this is really cool to see them like this.
Right.
But yeah.
So here's a drone bee. You want to hold that?
Oh yeah.
They.
So he's big. They're bigger.
Yeah, they're bigger. They've got big eyes, a round abdomen.
Oh, that's
hairy. There's a queen cell. This queen cell looks like maybe they're feeding some larvae in there. This one's capped over. So you can see right here the difference between drone cells and queen cells. Queen cells are pointing down, and worker cells and drone cells are horizontal.
So how do they make that? What is that?
So these are made out of wax. They build out the cell wall. They'll start with queen cup, just a hexagon or round shape foundation. And then they build that out. They build it out with wax. And inside there, they'll feed the queen the royal jelly. And then they'll cap it over while that bee is in the propolis, or in the, the pupa stage. There's a queen cup right there. So there's a difference between a queen cup. They haven't started a queen in there yet. And then here's a queen cell.
Oh, okay.
Queen cup, queen cell.
So where do they keep the royal jelly? Where is
So
that?
the royal jelly is the baby food. It's the baby formula that they mix up.
Yeah.
They mix it up as they need it. So their pharyngeal glands inside of the nurse bees,
That's in their head, right?
in their head, yep, that mixes up certain enzymes and chemicals and pollen for protein, right? And then you'll see honey for the carbohydrates, and then they turn that into royal jelly and they feed that to the larvae.
Oh, okay. And the queen eats royal jelly its whole life, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, she's on a diet because she's on a nutrient-rich diet because she's got to lay a lot of eggs. So they'll continue to feed her, maybe not the exact same formula, but they feed her well throughout her life when she's productive and laying eggs.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for the queen now. I don't know if we're going to find her in here now. She might be superseded. So sometimes when the queen gets a little older, they'll raise another queen and phase her out. That could be happening right now, I don't know. This queen's marked. If she's still in here, she would have had a red dot on her thorax.
Is there a certain time of the year or anything that the queens move on?
So typically when swarming season happens, the old queen will move on, and that's about now, this time of year. And
Oh, so the queen might be gone by now.
She could have swarmed. I try to keep a careful eye on them. We don't want to lose swarms, but she could have. It's possible because there's a queen cell. She might have taken off with a swarm. We don't know.
Okay.
I don't see any eggs in here right now, so she might have done. We'll give them a little smoke first before we open it up. So I try not to block their entrance, because they'll be backing up traffic here when they're trying to come in. So it's best if you stay to the side of the hive, but we'll get away with it. Is it okay if I say a few things about my feral bee project?
Yeah, of course.
So this is one from our feral bees. So the industry worldwide right now is having a lot of trouble with our bees, maintaining the bee population and trying to solve the bee health issues we've got. And so we know that we've selectively bred bees for the traits that we want for quite some time, and we've done so at the expense of other traits that the bees have that allow them to survive on their own. So my attempt to help solve some of these problems is to catch some of the feral bee population that's been living on their own in the wild for a lot of years, and reintroduce some of those genes that we as the beekeepers and the ag industry have taken out of them. So if the best minds in the agriculture industry and the bee business can't figure out what the health problems are with bees right now, I'm not going to be able to either. So my attempt to solve that problem is to put it back the way it was before we broke it. So if it worked before, I think we can get it to work again if we just stop monkeying with Mother Nature.
Yeah.
So let's look in here and see if we can find eggs.
So is it just random eggs and honey, or do they have specific kind of areas that they put
There's a
one to the
specific
other?
area, and you'll see how it works. So look, if you look on this frame, you'll see honey in the corners
Yeah.
and the top of the frame, and then you'll kind of see a ring of pollen. Typically there'll be pollen just underneath the honey on the frame, and then right in the center is where the queen's going to lay eggs.
Okay.
So they keep the pollen in proximity to the brood and the honey close by, so it's easy for them to mix up the baby bee formula. So I don't see eggs on that one. I do see honey and pollen.
Wow, this is awesome.
I don't see eggs on this one. I'm looking for the queen bee too. Let's see if we can get a view of the queen. There's the queen right there. So,
where?
So the honeybees have 4 wings. There she is.
Oh yeah, it's that really big one.
She has a head and a thorax that are similar to the workers, but she has a longer pointed abdomen. You can see her right next to a drone. So there's a drone, and there's a queen.
So what is she doing right now?
there. So she's walking around, putting her head in cells, seeing if there's already an egg or a larva in there, and measuring the cell with her front legs. So if she measures the cell size and it's the size that a worker would develop in, she'll lay a fertilized egg in it. If it's a larger cell for drones, she'll lay an unfertilized egg in it. That's what she's doing.
So I think a lot of people watching will be wondering, most people know that bees make honey, but like how exactly, what is that process?
So honey is ripened nectar.
Yeah.
And so the bees will mix nectar with their own enzymes, and then they'll dry it out.
In their honey stomach, right?
Right. They have two crops. They have two stomachs. One's a honey crop, and the other one's a regular stomach. So they bring back the nectar from the flowers, and then they'll put it in a cell. They'll give it to a receiver bee that puts it in a cell, and then they dry it out.
They do that with their wings, right?
Right. They'll fan the air, set up a circulation going through the hive, and dry it out. And then once it's reached moisture content that's low enough so that it won't ferment, which is 18–19% moisture, then they'll cap it over. They'll store it. They'll use it then or they'll use it later, but they cap it over with wax, just like putting a nice seal on a jar of food.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment
And subscribe.
and we'll see you on the next Wilder Nerds episode.